Hey everyone, I'm Josh, and I'm going to be talking about triangles, triangle beaters, and how to make decisions based on the scenarios that you're put into. The first thing we're going to talk about is this massive triangle. At first you would think, yeah, the bigger the triangle, the louder the piece probably, so you would probably use this for a Mahler symphony for the loud rolls, or for more rhythmic pieces like Roman Carnival. You have the da 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 da. And so with a large triangle like this, I think I need a beater that's a little bit heavier so it activates more of the triangle, but also has a clear articulation, so maybe more a brighter tone. And my first choice is going to be probably the steel, and this is the these are the largest ones you have. The bronze one, however, is a lot heavier, and so just because of that weight, it adds a little bit more power to it, so you'll still be able to hear much of the articulation. But because it's so heavy, a lot of the triangle is being activated, so it rings a lot more. So I find that the steel one for that particular excerpt is a little bit more tame and a little bit more clear. Now you might also wonder, why am I playing it at the top? I find that specifically with triangles, if you're looking for the brightest overtones, I find that playing on the outside gets you more highs. Inside can still get you some of the highs, but I find that because I'm going down and there's gravitational pull, I'm activating the triangle a lot more, so you hear a lot more of the tone than you do the highs. Instead of. Now some people might prefer this tone a little bit more. I can see both being valid, but today I just decided to do. Now sticking with the same triangle, I wonder what else you can use this for, because it's kind of a shame for this triangle to just be for loud playing. So other things you can do. Let's use the bronze beater. With the same beater, I can get different tones. So if I play more in the middle, I can get a more full, less high vibration sound. And then if I play more at the top, that gets more of the highs. Luckily with Black Swamp beaters, you have a little bit of a rounded top, and right before you get there, you have a sharper edge. It's not very sharp, but it's a little bit, you can see the clear edge there. And so if you're using this type of beater, you technically have 1, 2, 3, 4-ish ways of playing it. If you play out at the very back, that's a lot of tone. If you go to the middle, you just get a more balanced tone. Play at the very top. And then if you play at that sharper edge. And so, while I am demonstrating all of these beaters, you could just use one. And again, sticking with this particular triangle, if I were to go to a smaller beater, now again, with these beaters, you're gonna have either a heavier or a lighter version, along with the type of metal. So if I go to a slightly smaller version of the steel, it's going to be less heavy, but have that same articulation. And because it's lighter, I'm going to get more highs. Now, if you wanted to get a similar sound with the heavier beater, you'd have to use a lot more lift and a lot more upstrokes, and you have to work harder. So, this is why, while you could have just one beater, you should get more. And then the same thing goes for these beaters as well. If you wanted to play more at the bottom, you get a very tony sound. If you play more in the middle, play at the top, and then play at the very top edge. So all these beaters have that in common. And then if I wanted to play even lighter, then you have the lightest version of the steel. And you can play things like Dvorak, that's Slavonic dance. And that's, again, at the very top edge. And with these beaters, they're very light, so I would recommend holding them a little bit further back so you get more weight at the top. And that should balance it out for your playing comfort. Okay, not the big triangle anymore. Let's talk about a more normal size triangle with the Artisan 7-inch. This naturally gives you a lot more highs with the size of the triangle, but I sometimes find that these heavier beaters overactivate for my personal taste, so I have to really be careful how much power I'm putting into it. So I'm gonna be lifting a lot more. Of course, this depends on the scenario. Maybe I do need to really let the beater go at it. But I find with my style of playing, I like to lift off with this triangle with these heavier beaters. So again, that's the steel with the bronze. So with those beaters, with this size of a triangle, I'd be careful not to overplay the triangle with that much weight. So I tend to go for the slightly smaller version of these beaters for this size. And then the bronze. That's really nice. Okay, now for my absolute favorite ones, the Legacy Bronze. Here I'm going to be trying out the steel teardrop. I again find that this one is a lot more articulate, and also because of its shape, I'm able to really get those different tones in a more gradual way. So dead center at the heaviest and thickest part, you're going to get a lot more tone. And then at the very top, you're going to get the brightest tone. And with this particular triangle, I tend to either go for a lot of highs for more rhythmic things, or I'm looking for a lot more color, so I'm going to be playing more at the bottom corner. And with the bronze triangle beater, I'm still getting that same type of tone, but it's a little bit heavier, so it's going to activate the triangle a lot more. And finally, the arch bronze, which I absolutely love. It's going to give you probably the most fun sounds. And Again, with this size triangle, you have a lot of options as far as what implements to use. Again, with the heavier beaters, you don't want to overplay the triangle, so your strokes are going to be a lot slower, and oftentimes you're going to have to lift off more, but it responds so well with all of these implements. And so even if I am putting all the weight in there, it's not really overplaying. It's really welcoming the implement. And that's dead center. Now with this triangle, I tend to, again, go for the smack dab middle of the road sizes. Again, because I like the balance of the weight. And I feel like I have the most control with these. But, again, we have the teardrops. And I find the bronze and, again, the steel are probably my favorite ones to use because of the amount of options that I have gradually, again, because of the shape. And so that's all the Black Swamp triangles that I have. Number one, I highly recommend getting the Legacy Bronze because the Legacy Bronze and the Arch Bronze, specifically because of all the colors you're able to get. But if you were only gonna get two, I would get the Artisan and the Arch, personally. These two have been my workhorses ever since I've gotten them. And I've been lucky to be performing with the lyric opera Aida on the Arch Bronze. This is the one I've been using the most. Those are some thoughts on how to choose implements with your triangles, and hopefully you all can use your larger triangles more than just playing loud stuff. So until next time, bye.